This is a video response to Question for Atheists by ReiReimodel. I think that's how you say your name. Anyway, it's spelled ReiReimodel. The link will be in the sidebar, as usual. Everybody's story of how they became an atheist or what led them to become an atheist is different. So don't assume that my story is universal and everybody's story is like mine, but don't assume that it's unique either, because I'm sure there are many out there whose experiences and what led them to be an atheist are very similar to mine. When I was a kid, I lived with my aunt and we went to church every day, at least twice a week, and if the door was open more than that, we went in. I prayed every day, every night, before every meal. I read the Bible every night, did Bible study. I memorized quotes. I remember getting a little star next to my name every Friday whenever the Bible study teacher would say, well, who's memorized the passage for this week? And I memorized it. I had it memorized the first day, most of the time. So I was a fundamentalist. And I had no problem with what the Bible said because I believed it 100%, and I thought, well, that if God ordered something to be done, then you better well do it, regardless. Even when I read over the genocide of the Canaanites, I thought, well, they deserved it because they didn't believe in God, they didn't follow God. And when God killed hundreds of thousands of his own people because of the golden calf, well, they shouldn't have had that idol. So I wasn't exposed to any other alternative ideas at this point. I had no inkling of how the world worked. Nothing. I had no clue about physics or chemistry, and so the only thing that I knew was the Bible. And if that was my only option, so I believed it. Well, then I started learning. I learned. I was very into nature. I was very into science. I didn't watch cartoons. I watched the Discovery Channel, and I watched the Science Channel, and I did watch Discovery Health. And I love to learn. I've always loved to learn. And I reconciled my Christianity with reality by saying, well, God set this into motion. The reason why everything works the way it does is because God set it into motion. Then one day I stumbled across YouTube. It was probably my junior year. It was the beginning of my junior year in high school, and I stumbled across YouTube. And I started watching other people's, videos, other people's ideas. I started learning. I watched The Amazing Atheist, and at first I thought he was a retard. I thought he was an idiot, and I loved VII A. I thought, oh, this guy's great and everything. At the time he was the most popular Christian vlogger on YouTube. So. But I still watch The Amazing Atheist videos regularly, and he occasionally came out with intellectual videos that I found quite interesting. And then I stumbled across Thunderfoot, and I watched his videos, and I thought, well, this guy's very interesting. And then I started reading the Bible again. So this is my junior year in high school. I know a little bit more about how the world works. I have a friend who's an atheist. His name was Josh, and I got to know him, and he was helping me in my math class, because at the time I sucked with math, and just getting to know him and the reasons why he was an atheist, I started looking at the reasons why I believed what I believed. You know, I was a fundamentalist Christian still, and he just kind of started me being introspective. So I met people with different ideas in high school. Obviously, the majority of them were Christians of every shape, color, size, however you want to say it. I mean, there were Catholics, Baptists, Mormons. I live in the Southwest, so in New Mexico, the majority of the Christians here are either Catholic or Mormon, with a liberal dose of Jehovah's Witnesses, but that's neither here nor there. I met a few pagans and started learning about their beliefs, you know, multiple gods. The one that stands out, he was a Celtic pagan. He's the one that I know the best. I knew him the best. So I started learning about other people's ideas, and like I said, I was watching Thunderfoot and The Amazing Atheist, you know, regularly. I still thought that The Amazing Atheist was an idiot, and I thought that Thunderfoot was very educated, but wrong. I mean, I thought that a theory was just a theory, it was speculation, and science was BS. I mean, I was so fundamentalist that I didn't believe science in any way, and I thought math was a four-letter dirty word. But to cut a long story short, I started reading the Bible again and looking at it from different perspectives, and I realized, well, first of all, this could never happen. I learned more about science, and I started actually saying, well, you know what? You know, I'm looking at this stuff over a computer that only exists because of science. So there must be some merit to science. You know, you can prove science. You can't prove that God exists. And if God exists, look at all this stuff he's done, you know. Ordered. He's ordered the deaths of millions of people. So, do I really want to follow a deity that's the antithesis of what I thought he was? And I said, no. So I became a pagan for about 6 months, because I thought, well, you know, I still think there's a God, or if I still think there's gods, there's got to be a higher power. And, you know, Christianity basically amounts to a hodgepodge of all the other pagan religions, so, you know, I chose paganism. And then I started reading about Eastern philosophies, and I liked them. And then I said, well, why believe in any of this? And then I became agnostic. And then I became an atheist. And by the end of my senior year, I was definitely an atheist. So it was a gradual process. So it was a gradual process that took about 2 years. So, and now I haven't really looked back. I've been looking at, I've looked into it. I still read the Bible, not very often, but I still read it. And it's just, the more I think about it, the more I'm really glad that I got away from Christianity. Really glad. It's It's just bad. Christianity is not very good. And I'll make a video at some point explaining all the flaws in Christianity. It'll probably be a series of videos, but anyway, good day.